Good morning, everyone. We'll call the regular council meeting of Tuesday, April 9th to order. I'd like to commence with recognition of land. I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Blackfoot and the people of Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. The city of Chestermere is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. And before I begin, I'd just like to recognize Councillor Narayan, Councillor Dean. Thank you for being in attendance and keeping informed. I'd also like to recognize former Mayor Chalmers for being in the chambers. Mr. Vincent, any changes to the agenda?
Mr. Official Administrator, no additions, no deletions.
I'll move that the official administrator accept the April 9th, 2024 regular council meeting agenda as presented. So moved. All in favor? Carried. I'll move that we approve the March 26, 2024 regular council meeting minutes as presented. So moved. All in favor? Carried. And we'll commence with the public hearing.
Excuse me, Mr. Official Administrator, we have one introduction, if we might, this morning, please, sir.
My apologies. Go ahead, Mr. Vincent.
Thank you very much. I ask
Good morning. I would like to take this moment to introduce Kathy Doherty at the end of the table over here. Catherine, sorry. Kate, we now have 4 Catherines in the organization, and I'm interchanging all of their names. It's not great if you're one of them. My sincere apologies. And she is the new manager of infrastructure and planning in community growth and infrastructure. She joins us with a large background in management and engineering, and consulting engineering in particular, and also has a background in surveying. And thank you so much for joining the organization, and everyone is very excited about the energy and the passion that you've brought to the community already. She's only 1 week in, and if you have anything else you'd like to say. And we did have to accept her resignation to the SDAB, as she cannot be a staff member and on the SDAB.
Welcome aboard, Catherine. So with that, we'll go to the public hearing. Jack, please.
Good morning. My name is Jack Shipton, Planner 1 with Community Growth and Infrastructure. Today, before the public hearing, be presenting on Bylaw 008-24. This is a file that proposes a land use amendment to the map of Land Use Bylaw 022-10 in the North Acreages community. I would like to note today that the applicant is with us today, Mr. Fred Deere, back. Should you require any clarification on any aspects of this file. Onto the bylaw itself. Administration is recommending the following motions today. Motion that the official administrator give second reading to Bylaw 008-24, being an amendment to the Land Use Bylaw 022-10 as amended and is shown on Schedule A of Bylaw 008-24. And second, motion that the official administrator give third reading to Bylaw 008-24, being an amendment to the Land Use Bylaw. And on to background. The subject property is focused on 1.53 hectares on the properties 11 and 15 Paradise Place, located in the North Acreages. The proposed land use redesignations, as shown on Schedule A of the proposed bylaw, are as follows. To redesignate this 1.53 hectares of the rural residential district to the transitional rural residential district. Administration has reviewed the application against all applicable city-approved plans, including the Land Use Bylaw and Municipal Development Plan. We have determined that they align with the intention of our policies. Specifically, this redesignation falls in line with the city's effort to promote phased intensification of the acreages and follows the intent and requirements of the TRR district. The TRR district is a new land use district within the city's land use bylaw. It was adopted through bylaw 018-23, which came into effect on September 12th, 2023. It was created to provide phased infill development opportunities in the acreage communities in the absence of an area structure plan or outline plan, and to regulate the transition from rural to higher density. Hold on, just lost my place here. Higher density. The intent of this LUA is to redesignate the subject lands to a viable district for future subdivision. The applicant has submitted a subdivision application concurrently with this LUA and intends to subdivide the 2 existing lots, 11 and 15 Paradise Place, into 3. Without this land use redesignation, subdivision would not be possible. A key component of the TRR district is that an applicant is required to submit a shadow plan. These are unofficial plans that guide development where formal planning processes may not be available. Their intent is to allow subdivisions to follow in sequence and ensure development fits into a long-range concept. The applicant has submitted a satisfactory shadow plan as part of their application package, and it has been included in this report as attachment A. Engineering has reviewed the application and requested information regarding existing wells and septic fields and how the new lots will be serviced by water, sanitary, and stormwater. The applicant has submitted this information to the satisfaction of engineering. In terms of service impacts, as the acreage communities begin phased development, city services are anticipated to be pulled alongside at the cost of developers. As a TRR land use, no municipal lines or sanitary lines will be extended at this time. Social impacts, this is the first land use amendment to the TRR district. And as the first foot in the door, it is anticipated that we will be receiving more applications of this nature in the future, follow in the footsteps of this file, so it's important to remain consistent. In terms of regional impacts, the north acreages are located in Joint Planning Area 2, as defined by the Calgary Metropolitan Regional Board. This is a shared growth area between the City of Chestermere and the City of Calgary. Administration sees low risk in approving this application. The first of likely many land use redesignations in the acreage communities. It is important that we approach these projects carefully and, as said before, remain consistent with requirements. With this particular application, the applicant has worked closely with the city and provided the information we need in order to make an informed decision. First reading of this bylaw occurred March 12th, 2024, and a public hearing was scheduled for April 9th, 2024, that is today. After first reading, public notice was mailed on March 25th to adjacent landowners within 200 meters of the subject property. This was more than 2 weeks in advance of today's public hearing. Additionally, public notice was posted on the City of Chestermere's website for a 2-week duration from March 25th to April 9th. 2 emails have been received of today's presentation, which will be read by Legislative Services. And before you open public hearing, do you have any questions?
I have no questions, thank you. Does the applicant wish to speak to the...
Mr. Official Administrator, just for the record, if I might, can I confirm that you had opened the public hearing at 9:03 a.m.?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I'll move that the official administrator open the public hearing for bylaw 00824, being the North Acreage's Transitional Rural Residential Land Use Amendment Bylaw, 9:03 a.m. So moved. All in favor? Carried. The applicant wish to speak?
Yes, I would just like to say.
Please come to the podium, please.
I'm in support of my application. We've dealt with basically all our neighbors and everything seems to be flowing smoothly, and I'd like to see us proceed to third reading if we can today.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak in favor of the application? Calling once. Please proceed to the mic.
Sakina Hamoud, Fred's neighbor. I believe he just used the words, I dealt with my neighbors and everything is okay. I just want to disagree with that statement as a neighbor.
Does anyone else wish to speak in support of the applicant? Callum, do we have any correspondence in favor of the application?
No, we do not.
Calling a third and final time, is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Please proceed to the mic.
Hello, my name is Colin Gill. I live on 243211 Paradise Road, and I certainly approve this particular subject matter. So I think it's the right time to. The residents have been waiting quite a while for this move, and I represent. I have regular meetings with all the residents in the North Acreages. So we had. Since the bylaw got changed, so we had numerous conversations with landlords in regards to this change, in regards to the TRR. So I certainly approve this to be good move for the city to approve this particular TRR process.
Thank you. Calling a third and final time for anyone speaking in favor of the application. Calling a first time for anyone speaking opposed to the application. Calling a second time for anyone opposed to the application. Callum, do we have any correspondence? Please read it, please.
Good morning, Official Administrator. We have two submissions to read into the public today. The first one, they're both from the same person, but Sakina Hamoud, sorry if I mispronounced that. Hello, just over 5 years ago, my family and I wanted to change, and we found that on Paradise Road and Paradise Place is the only, is one of the only areas that combines the city and country living together. I can say that for the last 5 years, we've been fortunate enough to not have to wake up every morning every time a neighbor starts their car, not have to hear my neighbor's activity or smell what my neighbor is cooking. I would like to keep it that way. I understand and I'm okay with dividing lots, but I'm 100% opposed to making the area I live in and lifestyle my family chose to urban. Out of curiosity, do these developers want to stay in the area, or is it solely for monetary gain with no regard for the families that choose this area for the solitude and lifestyle? Sakina. And I will also read Sakina's attachment. Sorry, correction. I strongly oppose the proposed changes to 11 and 15 Paradise Place rezoning. There are several reasons why this should not be approved. The following is some of the reasons this should not proceed. I purchased the 7 Paradise Place after it was foreclosed upon by Mr. Delure, whom is the owner of 11 and 15 Paradise Place. Mr. Delure made multiple what he called upon upgrades to this property, none of which were done by any professionals. None of the work completed were ever given permits for the work, and none were even expected. The things done were criminal and non-certified people, illegal gas fittings, unlicensed electricians, unlicensed plumbing. The property did not have proper water system and sewage, was not entering into any septic systems, but rather into the yard, parentheses, illegal waste disposal. Given the gas leaks, faulty electrician and plumbing, it is amazing that no one was hurt or killed in the potential gas explosion, fire, or flood. This had extreme potential to be a deadly situation. Mr. Driller had no respect for the rules put in place to stop people like him. The property at 11 Paradise Place has a Quino set, which is the number of illegal and unsightly issues, beginning with the Quino set being used as an illegal marijuana grow operation, rented as a business shop, and had little to no yard maintenance, very unsightly. Again, it is no proper water or septic system. Water trucks come and fill the tank, and unknown what or where sewage is being put. Fence surrounding the property is falling over and missing sections, and stormwater pools up as there is no plan for water runoff, causing mud pits and standing water after every storm and spring thaw. The property at 15 Paradise Place is a garage that again was built with living quarters in it. This was done by unqualified people and without proper water system and sewage, which has pumped into a hole dug next to the building, allowing Mr. Diller to the proposed changes will result in the continuation of his reckless disregard for any and everything. Which brings me to the environmental issues. At the last town hall meeting, we were told that there was not enough groundwater to support any new well. If this is the case, how are these new changes going to affect the water supply? There have already been properties whom had run out of water in the drier parts of the summer. Given the state of the drought occurring more and more, this approval will likely have us with no water even sooner and for longer periods of time. The city better have a plan for the lawsuits when several acreages owners sue for mismanagement. Septic, molds, and fields. I have had a professional install mine, and though the permits and inspection I was explained the requirements needed to install a proper system. Given the requirements set out by the city, I cannot see how, with setbacks and well and septic separations, that Mr. Diller is able to have this fit on the proposed footprint of the property. Stormwater, again, I witnessed the past several years in which I observed mud pits, standing water pools, and surface runoff that has not been properly dealt with and in fact has caused overland flooding of Mr. Diller's property onto mine. Infrastructure. With the increased traffic and pedestrians, what is the city's plan on upgrades? Upgrading the roads, signage, and adding sidewalks for maintenance. Who will be expected to pay for all of this? Mr. Diller has proven time and time again that he is not willing to follow the bylaws and no regards for the safety, well-being of anyone or the community or the city of Chestermere. Should this proceed, I expect the city to provide in writing guaranteed regarding impacts of the area's water, septic, stormwater, traffic access, environmental impacts, and mental impacts that this will have on those of us who bought property in this community for acreage lifestyle. At this point, legal construction has not been discontinued and might be considered depending on the decision moving forward. Abe Humad, owner and taxpayer of 7 Paradise Place, please feel free to attend and inspect what I have included in my statement, both on my property and the proposed properties. Thank you.
Calling a second time for anyone opposed to the application. Please proceed to the podium. Calling a third and final time for anyone speaking to opposed to the application. Jack, do you have any closing comments?
In closing comments, if the official administrator would direct administration to collect all comments heard today for further review for consideration, we can do that. Otherwise, we have no further comments on this file.
Thank you. Does the applicant have any closing comments?
We followed everything to the letter of the law with everything we've done to this property. We've regraded. None of my water actually goes to Mr. Hammond's property. There's a ditch that takes it to the ditch like it's supposed to. The servicing for these properties are going to be done with trucked in water and trucked out septic. I do not have any problems with my well, and my well does not run dry. I don't know about Mr. Hammond, but it sounds like there's a lot of stuff being thrown at the wall here that has nothing to do with this application being approved, because we've met everything from engineering standards to planning standards. So
Thank you. Could we please have a motion to close the public hearing? I'll move that the official administrator close the public hearing for bylaw 00824, being the North Acreage Transitional Rural Residential Land Use Amendment Bylaw at 9:19 a.m. So moved. All in favor? Carried. We could have the next motion, please. I'll move that the official administrator give second reading to bylaw 00824, being an amendment to the land use bylaw 02210 as amended, as shown on Schedule A of bylaw 00824. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Next motion, please. I'll move that the official administrator give third and final reading to bylaw 00824, being an amendment to the land use bylaw 02210 as amended, as shown on Schedule A of bylaw 00824. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to the RCMP presentation, please. Staff Sergeant Clausen, please.
Good morning, Mr. Official Administrator. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Good. So today, to the next screen there. So just basically, I wanted to let everybody know what the annual performance plan means for the RCMP. So basically, the annual performance plan is a good business plan, is in effect a roadmap to success. It is a plan of action that draws from the overall strategic direction and lays out where you are now, where you are going, and how you plan on getting there. So every year, the RCMP develops an annual performance plan for us to decide on things to focus on for the next fiscal year. We do that in conjunction with the community and so forth. Do I have control over this, or can I move it forward? Oh, there's a clear. Thank you. I like this. Is it working? Okay, so this year we did an online survey through the City of Chestermere, and we hosted a town hall meeting right here, which was open to the public for all citizens to attend and voice their opinion on what they felt the RCMP should focus on for this year. The online survey brought us approximately 300 responses, which is very good involvement from the community, and the town hall meeting saw approximately a dozen people attend. Click. I don't know. There we go. All right, so last year for the 2023-2024 annual performance plan for the Chestermere RCMP, and we do it that way because our fiscal year runs from April the 1st to March the 31st. So we had 3 objectives last year. One was property crime, the second one was traffic safety, and the third one was enhanced public engagement and relations and education. Under each of those headers, we had different initiatives, such as construction site patrols, the capture program, enhanced road safety program, school zones, playground zones, enforcement. And then under objective 3, we had community involvement events, youth education presentations, and increased public interactions through various means. This year, our online survey, these were the questions that were asked here. So overall, what has been your experience with the Chestermere RCMP? It gave an opportunity for citizens of Chestermere to express their thoughts on the Chestermere RCMP. And then please rank the following priorities, 1 being the most important, 7 being the least important, of some of the main areas that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And then if they wanted to add anything further on the bottom, they could explain further of why they thought we should focus on one thing or another. Property-related crimes, theft, break, and enters, and that I'll just go through. It shows how many people responded to each of the things. So property-related crimes was definitely a focus for the citizens here. Road traffic safety, we always get various responses on this because road safety can affect anybody. It's very common for people to know people that have dealt with a traffic violation or a traffic incident, so it's dear to people's hearts one way or the other. Persons crime, assault and robbery, that was also a high point here. Under this, you would see a lot of our domestic violence, family violence situations fall under, because that goes under the realm of assault. So very strong focus there. Drugs and alcohol related crimes. This also pairs with any other offenses in the criminal code. It could be or like provincial statutes. It could be a driving infraction or like an assault or property theft, a mischief, if it's all related. Not focusing just strictly on like trafficking or impairment, focusing like just on just the drugs and alcohol. Community engagement, vast diversity in what people thought we should focus on that. But it is very important for the RCMP to have a working relationship with the community we work for. So I think it's still very important that we should focus on that wherever we are. And mischief and disturbing the peace, another various response to that one. So this is what I present that we focus on for this year, keeping in mind that if anything comes up throughout the year, we can do that. These are not just the things that we're going to do. We will do these, but we can do anything else as well, as we obviously have the flexibility to do that at any time. So we're looking at our objective number 1 to be property and focusing on theft and break and enter. We, in the past, our property ones have focused on our construction zones. What we want to do is neighborhood and commercial property crime reduction program. So to really educate people on how to be safe in their homes, lock it or lose it programs, stuff like that. And under that, with our police communication committee, we do the capture program, security screw program, and the Chestermere Snowbird registries. And these are all programs that we use to help deter crime. It's not going to prevent it completely, but it will help deter it. Objective number 2, traffic, safety motor vehicle, the road safety enforcement program, and also want to focus on our school zones, playground zone enforcements and projects. We did get a high request for us to be in the schools. And I know we have coming up next year a position that will be focused on community engagement and schools and stuff like that. So we want to build up to getting to that point for when that new member arrives. Objective number 3, police engagement, community, schools, youth, and elders. We want to ensure that we provide education and community engagement events so that we're there, we're attending these events, we're out there for the public to see us and to develop a relationship with us so they feel comfortable in reporting crimes if they need to. And then, of course, our bike patrols and our inland water transport patrols, which is our lake patrols during the summer months. So that's what we're proposing. My question to you is, do you have anything else or anything that you feel that we should focus on as the RCMP for the community that you represent?
Thank you, Staff Sergeant Clausen. We have nothing from the official administrator. I don't know whether, Mr. Vincent, you have anything you want to present from administration?
Mr. Official Administrator, the administration is proud to have worked very closely with Staff Sergeant Clausen throughout this particular process. We're particularly happy to have such great community engagement as the Staff Sergeant has indicated. So I think this represents clearly what the community is looking for and is expecting, and we fully endorse the annual performance measures that are being set out. Thank you.
Thank you. Nothing further.
The other thing I'd like to focus on is something happened. Is our stats for February. So our stats for February, you will see that in comparison to last year, am I changing this or are you? Okay, good. So our stats from February to last year. So this represents from January to February, the end of February. And it's a comparison for last year at the same time to this year at the same time. And you can see that there's a 25% increase. And that, I will tell you, is because we had an increase in property crime, which, and I just wrote it down here, was we had 34 more incidents during this time period than we did last year, and they fell under mischief, fraud, and theft under. So, a lot of people are getting frauded now, whether it be online or through, phone calls, etc. So we're getting a lot of these people reporting them, which is good to see. And so that's what brought the increase there. It has been brought to my attention by our CAO that instead of like just having a percentage or just a number you see on the bottom ones, that we're going to, moving forward, do the percentages and the amounts on each arrow so we can really see the movement there. So yeah, just that was the explanation for why there's a 25% increase in that area in that time period. So I don't know if you have any further questions regarding that.
No further questions. Thank you.
Okay, that's all that I have today.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant Clausen. That's what we people continue to do.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
We could have a motion, please. I'll move that the council accept the RCMP crime stats dated April 2024 as information. And if we could add to that motion, please, and confirm the priorities for policing for 2024. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 6.1. Ms. Johal Watt, please.
Good morning, Mr. Official Administrator. My name is Sandy Johal Watt, Director of Corporate Services. I'm here to present 1538974 Alberta Limited 2023 audited financial statements. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce two staff members that I have with me in addition to our auditor. I've got Ann Tai. She's the Manager of Finance, and I've got Mo here. He's been pivotal in helping us compile do the background work in regards to the financials. And I've got Auditor Hisham Abadi here with me to support with this presentation. So council recommendations, a motion that the official administrator accept the 1538974 Alberta Limited 2023 audited financial statements as information and approve the interim CAO and Director of Corporate Services to sign the financial statements and other related documents. Subject background. Abadi Professional Corporation has completed the audit of the 2023 financial statements. And I've got a short presentation, and please don't judge me for all the numbers that I'm about to discuss here with you. I'll be presenting the Chestermere Utility Company 1538974 Alberta Limited audited 2023 financial statements. Introduction and purpose. To present the 1538974 Alberta Limited 2023 audited financial statements and seek approval from the official administrator. Background information. 2023 audited financial statements were audited by Abadi Professional Corporation and compiled by Dawn Accounting and Tax Services Professional Corporation, Chartered Professional Accountant. And here is a short agenda of what I'm going to be going through with this presentation. With this slide, I just wanted to point out that rates have remained constant at 105.26 for the past 6 years, including the year 2024. Operation revenue versus expenses. For the year ended December 31st, 2022, the corporation recognized $15.2 million in revenue versus December 31st, 2021, $14.7 million in revenue. As of December 31st, 2023, the corporation recorded $17.22 million. Revenue increased by 13% compared to 2022. Expenses decreased by 31%. By $964,988. Statement of financial position. Cash and cash equivalent, an increase of $3.2 million compared to 2022, mainly due to $4.8 million received from the city for offsite levies on November 23rd, 2023. And I just wanted to draw your attention to inventory. Inventory has increased due to the shortage of meters in the market. The corporation decided to purchase large quantities to satisfy the expected high demand from the residents, as old meters require replacement in the near future. Accrued liabilities. The increase of 1.4 million compared to 2022 is due to the following reasons. Accrued legal fees on lawsuits $930K and $100K, Harvest Recycling and Chestermere Utilities Inc. settlement. Council amended motion 529-18 to allow utility company to take on additional debt to be able to pay for the lawsuit settlement. I just wanted to draw your attention on this slide to the net loss for 2023 of 1.341 million, which is an increase of 984,642, or 73%. Statement of operations and other comprehensive income. I just wanted to draw your attention to the increase in net loss of $1,386 on this slide. Statement of change in equity takes into account the 1.341 million loss for a balance of 5,095 million in retained earnings. Statement of cash flow. 12.057 million consisting of 6.641 million contributed assets and 5.416 million in cash collected relating to the offsite levy and permit fees. Conclusion. In 2023, utility accounts grew by 634 compared to 486 in 2022. The City of Chestermere utility rates have not increased in the past 5 years, whereas City of Calgary has increased water and sewer rates annually. $1,030,000 in lawsuit settlements were accrued as expense in 2023, consisting of Harvest and Rainbow Falls development. Comments from the auditor. Abadi Professional Corporation. There were no significant difficulties encountered during the audit. There were no significant changes in accounting policies. Based on audit work performed, auditor was satisfied by estimates made by management. And lastly, no control deficiencies would be considered significant deficiencies. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Holwatt. Were the auditors appointed by council?
Mr. Official Administrator, they were not. This was a decision made by previous council and administration.
So, Mr. Vincent, just note going forward, council must appoint the auditors.
So noted, Mr. Official Administrator.
Second question. Typically, the auditors present the financial statements. This is no reflection on your capabilities. I have all the confidence in the work you do. Why are we not having the auditor present the financial statements as is the norm?
Mr. Official Administrator, the auditor is here with us, supporting me, but in industry, there's a little bit of a discomfort in presenting your own findings, and we don't have a board per se, so as such, I've presented the audited financial statements.
Okay, thank you very much. And with the letter of management, was there any concerns that were brought to your attention that we need to address, do you think?
Mr. Official Administrator, there were no concerns brought to my attention.
Okay, thank you very much. Could we have the motion, please?
Mr. Official Administrator, before you entertain the motion, I'd like to make two comments. If you go to page 95 of your agenda package, it's under note number 17 and 18 in the financial statements, the very last page. I am very pleased to point out the following. First, there has been no change in the corporation's risk exposure from 2022. That is significant in my mind. And note number 18 is especially important. On November 1st of 2021, the City of Chestermere Council announced intent to completely dissolve 1538974 Alberta Limited in compliance with the Municipal Government Act and Business Corporations Act. The dissolution has not been completed as of December 31st of 2023. it is the board's intent for the dissolution to be completed in 2024 upon stipulations being met. And I've just asked Ms. Johal Watt to confirm the progress that we're making in terms of meeting that target.
Yes, Mr. Vincent, I would like to confirm that we are making strong progress towards ensuring that the Chestermere Utility Company is brought into the financials with the City of Chestermere by the end of this year.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Official Administrator.
Okay, if we could have the motion, please. I'll move that the official administrator accept the 1538974 Alberta LTD 2023 audited financial statements as information and approve the interim CAO and Director of Corporate Services to sign the financial statements and other related documents. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 7.1, bylaw 00824. Jack, please.
Thank you, Mr. Official Administrator. Administration would be happy to repeat the report as heard during the public hearing, but have no further information to add. If you have any questions or concerns in light of the public hearing, can answer them now.
I have no further questions, and we've already done the motions, I believe. Correct?
Perfect.
Thank you, Jack.
No problem.
Moving on to bylaw 00924, off-site amending bylaw.
Good morning, Official Administrator. My name is Madeline Fisk, and I am the Growth and Development Coordinator here in the Engineering Department in Community Growth and Infrastructure. I am here today to present the Offsite Levy Bylaw 009-24, a revision to the 2023 Offsite Levy Bylaw. I am joined today by Mark Rewalt, who is our Senior Engineer, and I'm sure between the both of us we'll be able to answer any questions you may have at the end of this. The agenda for today is to go through a brief introduction of what our offsite levy bylaw currently looks like. I'll go through the motion request, offsite levy calculations, a change in any model inputs that we made, a summary of existing offsite levies compared to what we're proposing, and then I'll open it up for questions and then recommendations for council. As an introduction, I wanted to note that this update to the offsite levy bylaw is an annual process. We revise it to mitigate significant risk and keep the project costs and growth projections as accurate as possible. If there were mistakes made in the year prior, then we take that into account in the coming year and be sure to correct those mistakes. In the City of Chestermere, we currently have 6 different categories under the offsite levies. We have water, sanitary, stormwater, transportation, recreation, and fire. And under the Municipal Government Act, there are 2 other categories that could be included that are not currently a part of our bylaw, and those 2 are libraries and police stations. The motion requests that we will be requesting today include that Council give first reading to bylaw 009-24, being the offsite levy bylaw as presented, and that Council hold a public hearing on bylaw 009-24 on April 23rd, 2024. To calculate the offsite levy rates, it is a lot of complicated formulas involved, but we broke it down into this more high-level explanation, as you can see on the screen. Simply stated, the offsite levy rates are calculated using the offsite levy project cost divided by the benefiting area developed in 25 years. So to discuss the denominator there briefly, you can see the map on the screen here. The benefiting land that is developed within the next 25 years is in Chestermere split into 20 different parcels. Areas take into consideration the existing or planned infrastructure and barriers such as rivers or highways. The total net development area, or the land available for development across the offsite levy areas, is approximately 2,053 net hectares. As mentioned earlier, the offsite levy model works on a 25-year window, and every update will have adjustments to the amount of development that is being predicted within this 25-year period. This is included at the very beginning of our offsite levy project, where we project the growth that will occur within the next 25 years. And after engagement with different stakeholders, we calculated just an increase of 1 hectare over the next 25 years, or 2.47 acres. Considering the city saw nearly 66 hectares of development in 2023, which was double the amount predicted, this projection seems very reasonable. I would like to now speak more on the numerator in that formula mentioned before. As mentioned, the offsite levy bylaw within the city of Chestermere includes 6 different categories. Each of these categories have been approved under the Municipal Government Act to be funded by the offsite levies. I will now go through the following slides and just highlight some of the adjustments that we made this year. Under each of these categories, we have multiple projects that will need to be completed in the city of Chestermere. So for transportation, this was the largest increase that we saw this year. The Transportation Master Plan was updated, and the final report was released in November of 2023. We updated all of the projects to reflect the cost estimates in the master plan and to reflect the approved City of Chestermere 5-year capital plan. As you can see on the screen, the increase that we saw was $71 million to the transportation projects, to a total of approximately $243 million. Of this $71 million increase, $18 million is funded a part of the offsite levy bylaw, the 2024 offsite levy bylaw. The other increase here would be funded by municipal share, other stakeholders, or would be outside of the 25-year period. For the water offsite levy, we did not update much for this. We did increase 2 project costs based on actual costs we received in the summer of last year. The increase for water was $2 million, which came to a total of approximately $76.8 million. For sanitary, we also did not adjust very much here. We did move a couple projects out a few years of when we projected them to begin, and the total project cost for sanitary stayed the same at approximately $92 million. For storm, we did update a couple of the project costs based on new information collected from planning and from the functional studies regarding the centralized storm facility. The increase we saw here was by $7.2 million to a total approximately $75.3 million. For recreation, we inflated the project costs from reports that were submitted in 2020. These project reports were calculated based off the 2019 dollars, so we inflated that to reflect the 2023 dollars, which is approximately 16.7%. We also moved some of the project timing out to match the interim capital plan, and this was an increase of approximately $11.8 million to a total of $112.9 million. For fire, this was just implemented in the bylaw last year. We did not make any adjustments to this offsite levy. We do not have an updated master plan, but the functional study has been awarded, and we will update the project cost once the study is complete. The changes in the rate from the current bylaw. So for future development to pay its share of $612.7 million, they will be contributing approximately, this is the weighted average, approximately $380,000 per net hectare. Of the $612.7 million, $85 million is covered by municipal share and or special grants, and the remaining will be covered by the current or future developments. And we saw this year an increase of 9.6% from the offsite levy bylaw of last year. So here can help you visualize this a little better. So the top table here is the bylaw passed in 2023 and the rates. And then the table on the bottom is the bylaw for 2024. As I mentioned earlier, the largest increase we saw this year was in transportation. The increase here is approximately 30% increase. We see from the $91.9 thousand a hectare to this year, which would be $120,000. For water, there was a very slight increase from 56,000 to 57. That would have been 1.3% increase. In sanitary, we saw a slight decrease of 0.7. We see from 74,000 to 73. In storm, there was an increase of 9.3%. In recreation, we saw a decrease in 5.3. And then in fire was a very slight increase of 0.1%. Again, the weighted average, it was 9.6. So I want to show this map just one more time to demonstrate how these rates are broken up. For water, transportation, recreation, and fire, we consider these to be global rates, which means every one of these 20 parcels will pay the same levy for this infrastructure. They will all be benefited from those categories in the offsite levies. For storm and sanitary, they are adjusted depending on what area they're in. Not every area in Chestermere will be benefited from the same infrastructure depending on what catchment area. And in summary, you can see on the far column on the left, this is where they're split into the different areas from area 1 to 20. I would also just like to point out for storm, you can see that not all areas are contributing to the storm offsite levy. This is because these areas would feed into existing infrastructure that would drain into the lake and does not require any future infrastructure. It is important for us to point out as well the engagement process, a part of the offsite levy bylaw. This is critical to building a positive relationship with external parties and ensuring their voices are heard in the update of the bylaw. The meetings held with the industry, and this year we've had 5 so far, have been very positive, and we've seen this in the last couple years in being able to find some cost-effective solutions to the project cost estimates and put it into the model. With that being said, there has also been some concern brought forward from the development industry regarding the significant increases the city of Chestermere has presented the last couple of years, and this year in particular with the transportation levy increase of 30%. We are working together with them to find solutions and request that they bring their concerns forward to the public hearing on April 23rd for council's consideration. In conclusion, the 2024 offsite levy bylaw update was prepared during the 2023 and 2024 year and represents the financial cutoff date at the end of 2023. The update was a slight increase of land developed in 25 years and added some updated project costs. The largest increase we saw this year was in transportation, the 30% increase due to the transportation master plan that was released. In the package today, we included the red line markup of the current bylaw along with the offsite levy model report. And I would like to note that there is a small typo in the bylaw that was submitted. It was on page 6 of the bylaw. We have the date for the first reading of last year. So we just need to update the date to reflect this year's first reading. We believe the engagement process and technical model are best in class, and similar methods are used throughout the province of Alberta and different municipalities. We do recognize, however, that the methods used are not perfect, which is why the annual update and stakeholder engagement is critical in this process. We have been very successful in the past in working with the development industry to find some cost-effective solutions and hope to be able to continue that process moving forward. Now I'd like to open up if you have any questions.
I don't have any questions, thank you. Thank you for the very thorough presentation, Madeline. Could we have the motion, please? I'll give first reading, and I have a couple comments to make. I'll move that the official administrator give first reading to bylaw 00924 be in the offsite levy bylaw as presented. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Mr. Vincent, before we proceed with the second motion, I'm concerned about the timeline for this public hearing. today, 2 weeks from today, is that, are we going to have sufficient time to get all the advertising done, et cetera? Or should it be deferred to the first meeting in May?
Official administrator, if I am to speak to this, I would say that it's sufficient time, especially because of all the engagement that we've already had with the industry and they are aware. So this public hearing is for those few developers that may not be aware, but I think that's sufficient.
Yeah,
If I can add, we have to advertise for 2 weeks for a public hearing. If the advertisement goes out this afternoon, we meet that requirement.
and through to you, Liz, that's the question I'm asking. Are we going to get the advertising out in time to meet the legislative requirements for this public hearing?
As long as it goes out today, we will. And I don't see why we couldn't get it out today. I see Callan nodding as well. We can get it up on our website, and we'll be able to take care of that. I'm confident that we can.
Okay.
It'll be done before noon.
Okay, thank you. Hopefully the meeting will be done before noon so you can do it. Move that the official administrator approve the scheduling of public hearing for bylaw number 00924 for April 23rd, 2024. So moved. All in favor, carried. And Callan, I'd like to add a third motion that official administrator give direction to administration to prepare and include a library offsite levy in the 2025 offsite levy amending bylaw. We desperately need a new bylaw or a new library, and we need to get the offsite levy in place. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving on in the agenda. .3 Land Use Amendment Bylaw. I'm not sure who's presenting. Jack, you again? Thank you.
Yep, I'm back.
You're back.
Yeah, so today I'll be presenting on behalf of our project team. That includes Jeevan Sandhu, who's not here today, Liz Armitage, and with support from our building and development team. This is a request for decision on bylaw 020-24, being an update to the land use bylaw. Administration is recommending the following motions today. Motion that the official administrator give first reading to bylaw 020-24, being the land use bylaw update, and a motion that the official administrator approve the scheduling of a public hearing for bylaw 020-24 for May 14th, 2024. A bit of context for this project. A land use bylaw is a legislative document enacted by a municipality to regulate the use and development of land within its jurisdiction. Regulated by the provincial government under the Municipal Government Act, all municipalities in Alberta are required to adopt a land use bylaw. While the MGA provides the framework for the land use bylaw, individual municipalities hold the responsibility for creating and administrating their own documents. The primary goal of a land use bylaw is to promote orderly development by delineating land use districts and establishing the process and decision-making authority for land use redesignations, subdivision, development permit applications. The objective of this project is to update land use bylaw 022-10. This was initially adopted in 2011. The proposed land use bylaw 020-24 focuses on administrative updates to ensure clarity, consistency, and rectification of errors in the previous. Additionally, minor and medium scale amendments have been incorporated to align the bylaw with higher level statutory plans and to reflect new standards and trends in land use regulation. The scope of the land use bylaw update project has been primarily administrative in nature. This project is a refresh, not a rewrite of the bylaw. Items that required extensive time and resources to implement were not considered as part of this project. And while these amendments are minor in nature, for ease of updating the land use bylaw, a repeal and replace method is being utilized here, i.e. land use bylaw 022-10 will be repealed and replaced with land use bylaw 020-24. A draft of the bylaw with all changes highlighted has been attached to this report. There are a few key components of the land use bylaw updated to this project that we wanted to highlight. We have consolidated bylaws passed since February 2023 We have carried out administrative updates such as spelling and grammatical errors, correcting oversight. We've changed pronouns to neutral, and we're providing general clarification and formatting corrections. Market trends have been captured, inclusions that have not been accounted for but currently exist in the city. We've added definitions for brewery, vaping lounges, and mobile curbside pickup. Minor and medium additions, including new definitions and associated regulations, have been included for brewery and mobile curbside pickup, as well as development completion certificate requirements and CCANs in the public service district. We have updated parking regulations. Parking requirements are now based on gross floor area. Accessible stall and wheel stop regulations have also been updated. Sign regulations have been updated as well. This includes cleanup of definitions, regulation clarification, and the addition of definitions and regulations for missing sign types. Our project team has ensured clear communication with departments directly impacted by these bylaws. Targeted stakeholder engagement sessions with the development and building industry were held in December 2023 to provide an overview of the scope of the land use bylaw update and to allow them to provide input. They were given the opportunity to provide feedback on our scope and address any concerns prior to moving forward. These individuals that attended our sessions have been made aware that the project is moving forward and have been encouraged to participate in the public hearing we are proposing for May 14th. In terms of implications of this project, we have identified the following. Financial implications. Consolidation of bylaws may streamline administrative processes, both internally and for our development community. Market trend considerations may lead to opportunities for new businesses in our community. Service implications. Clear and updated bylaws can enhance regulatory compliance, leading to more efficient service delivery. Social implications. Gender-neutral language revisions can promote inclusivity and reflect evolving societal norms. Economic implications. Clear regulations and streamlined processes can facilitate economic development by providing certainty for business and investors. We have communicated with our development community through this project to ensure they are aware of our intentions with this update. Regional. Alignment with regional trends can enhance collaboration and coordination among neighboring municipalities. Many of these changes aligns with planning trends we are seeing in these communities. Administration sees this project as low risk. This update has purposely avoided items of potential controversy and rather focused on administrative updates and minor additions. Do you have any questions today?
One question I have, Jack, is when were the rates last reviewed?
When were, what, sorry?
Rates.
The rates last reviewed. I will defer that to Liz.
I don't know. I'm going to go with it's been a couple years.
Okay, I'll deal with that later then. I have no other questions.
That's good.
Could we have the motions, please? I'll move that the official administrator give first reading to bylaw 02024, being the land use bylaw update, and further that administration report back on the review of the rates as per Schedule B prior to presenting the bylaw for second reading.
If I may, I already can report back on when it was updated. The fee schedule was done September 1st, 2023. Thanks to Shaman for being very with it.
No, don't. No, and further that administration provide a full review of the rates levied according to Schedule B prior to presenting the bylaw for second reading. That's all. Thank you. So moved. All in favor? Carried. I'll move that the official administrator approve the scheduling of a public hearing for bylaw number 02024 for the May 14th, 2024. Thank you. All moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Callan, I believe you're next, please.
Good morning, official administrator. Administration is coming to council to present first reading of bylaw 011-24, being the regional emergency management bylaw. Administration's recommendation to council is the motion that the official administrator give first reading to bylaw 011-24, being the regional emergency management bylaw. This is in collaboration with the town of Strathmore, and I would like to acknowledge Sarah Coots in the audience, who has been very helpful in organizing this bylaw. So for the background, in 2021, the City of Chestermere, in collaboration with the town of Strathmore, Wheatland County, Village of Hussar, Rockford, and Sanford, signed an agreement to establish the Wheatland Regional Emergency Management Partnership, or known as the WREMP. The WREMP is a partnership between the aforementioned municipalities to help prepare and manage emergencies as they arise from time to time. In the interest of cooperation, administration is bringing forward a new emergency management bylaw that is more in line with our partners of the WREMP. Once this bylaw receives all three readings, bylaw 003-20, being the current emergency management bylaw, will be rescinded. For the implications, this bylaw, once it has received all three readings, will bring the City of Chestermere and its emergency management apparatus in line with the other municipalities participating in the WREMP. And just to repeat the recommendation, motion that the official administrator give first reading to bylaw 011-24, being the regional emergency management bylaw.
Thank you, Callan. Couple of questions. Excuse me. Is this the identical bylaw that the other partners have presented to their councils?
From my knowledge, at least Strathmore's. I cannot confirm with the other ones, but I assume they're all very similar in nature.
Perhaps, Mr. Morrison, we just ask our resource to come forward and brief the official administrator. Thank you.
Yeah, so we are taking this same bylaw to the town of Strathmore for first reading tomorrow. And Wheatland County is taking it to their council the following week.
Second question, Callan, you referred to apparatus, but there's no mention in the bylaw of apparatus.
I can answer that question. That was a bit of artistic flair for the RFD, and I just wanted to use the word apparatus.
Sorry, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I just wondered if there was an oversight there. Very good answer. And I just ask that you take a review of the bylaw. I'm concerned that there is some discrepancies. I shouldn't say discrepancies. There's some repetitive comments in there, and I'd like you to take a review of it prior to coming forward for second reading, if you would, please. But to keep the process moving, we will proceed with first reading. If I could have the motion, please. Move that the official administrator give first reading to bylaw 01124, being the regional emergency management bylaw. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eight point one. Good morning.
Thank you. My presentation is a request for decision to approve settlement of an outstanding lawsuit in the amount of $100,000 which was brought by 1790445 Alberta Limited, which I'll refer to as Harvest Recycling, and it's against 1538974 Alberta Limited, which was the Chestermere Utility Company. So Harvest Recycling and Chestermere Utilities have negotiated settlement of 2 outstanding claims for a total amount of $100,000. Harvest Recycling initiated the lawsuits against Chestermere Utilities in 2017, in which they claim that Chestermere Utilities wrongfully terminated 2 contracts for garbage and recycling collection services. The settlement, if approved, will be paid from the utility rate or operating expense account as an unbudgeted item. If the settlement is not approved, Harvest could pursue Chestermere Utilities for payout of the full amount of the damages initially sought by them in their claims, being $960,000, therefore costing the city significantly more money in settlement amounts, legal fees, and interest. So again, the motion that we're looking for is to approve a payment by Chestermere Utilities to Harvest Recycling in the amount of $100,000 as full and final settlement of Harvest's claims. Do you have any questions?
One question, has this recommendation been reviewed by legal counsel? Is it supported by legal counsel?
Mr. Official Administrator, the answer is yes. We've worked extensively with legal counsel on this particular matter, and I just wanted to add that Ms. Johal Watt, in her report from the CUI financial statements, did outline the $100,000 was a contingent liability in 2023, so the funds are in place for the settlement.
Thank you. So we can proceed with the motion, please. Move that the official administrator approve a settlement amount of $100,000 between 1790445 Alberta Limited, operating as Harvest Recycling Harvest, and 1538979 Alberta Ltd, formerly Chestermere Utilities Inc. CUI. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Approved. Thank you. 8.2, Liz, please.
Good morning. Please bear with me as I am pinch hitting for this item, and I'm sure it can only go as well as my last question I was asked, which was, I have no idea. I'm here today to present on behalf of our PMO office and Junaid the request to add the CRCA parking lot improvements to the 2024 capital projects and allocate budget. We are looking today for a motion that the official administrator give approval to add Chestermere Recreation Centre, the CRCA, parking lot improvements to the 2024 capital projects and allocate a $100,000 budget to deliver detailed engineering study and design that will facilitate in requesting future financial support for actual construction. The background on this project is that the CRCA is suggesting the reconstruction of the current parking lot with additional proposal to extend the project scope. This expanded plan aims to address parking and pedestrian concerns at Anniversary Beach for the city of Chestermere. Such an initiative would effectively tackle various challenges faced by Chestermere residents and users of both the recreation center and Anniversary Beach. This will include improved parking options for CRCA patrons and a safer, dedicated access route for the parking lot to the beach. I'm not going to read this whole report, but I will note that the CRCA has agreed to contribute $54,000, and that we enter into a binding legal agreement with the CRCA organization to protect the mutual interest in the asset of the facility and to meet the obligations of the certification. And ultimately, this is intended to be a phased project. Phase 1 will be the detailed engineering, geotechnical, and design of the project. And it will include the conceptual design for the ultimate parking lot and expansion to accommodate an additional 250 parking stalls. And then with staged for future, actual construction. We do believe this will not happen in one event of being able to pave it all and do the stormwater and all the stuff that is necessary as well. I think that is it for me today. If you have any questions, I would love to try to answer them.
I don't have any questions for you, Liz. Could we have
Thank you.
Could we have the motion, please? I'll move that the official administrator give approval to add Chestermere Recreation Center CRCA parking lot improvement to 2024 capital projects and allocate $100,000 budget to deliver detailed engineering study and design that will facilitate in requesting future financial support for actual construction. And I'm going to amend this a bit, if I could, please, Cal, and further that administration actively work with Rocky View County to achieve their consent for the detailed engineering study, as they are and that's the end of the motion. They're the owners of the property, and I think we should do that. Just, if nothing else, get a letter to them. So I'll move that. So moved. All in favor? Carried.
I can confirm that our PMO office and Junaid have been in correspondence with Rocky View County and will continue to.
Thank you, and I understand that. I think it's just good that we get it in writing. Thank you. So moving on, Ms. Johal Watt, Library Board, please.
Good morning again, Mr. Official Administrator. I am pleased to be here to present the City of Chestermere agreement with the Library Board. But first, I'd just like to do a couple of quick introductions. I'd like to introduce Miranda Johnson, Director of Library Services, and Ms. Kavita, who is the Board Chair. So bylaw number 00724 is the bylaw related to this RFD. Council recommendations. Motion that the official administrator accept the library memorandum of understanding regarding license of occupation, storage space, and payroll services agreement as information. Subject background. The Chestermere Public Library began with a dream of a committed group of community members even before 1993, when the bylaw was passed to form the Chestermere Library Board. This dream became a reality on November 27, 2007, when the library opened its doors and collections to the people of Chestermere and Rocky View County. The project has been a demanding one, made successful mainly through the hard work and passion of many members of the community that supported the vision of having our own library in Chestermere. The attached memorandum of understanding would be in place until December 31st, 2028. Previous council and council decisions. January 9th, 2024, the Library Board 2024 budget presentation. And again, recommended options. Motion that the official administrator accept the library memorandum of understanding regarding license of occupation, storage space, and payroll services agreement as information.
Could we have the motion, please? Move that the official administrator accept the library memorandum of understanding regarding license, occupation, storage space, and payroll services agreement as information. So moved. All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
I know you've been waiting for that one for a while. Mr. Vinson, you're next, 9.2.
Mr. Official Administrator, those people in the public gallery, the administration has chosen to change the format in reporting to council and to the public by adopting a quarterly approach to statements. I'm proud to lead a very dedicated and committed group of outstanding employees, the quality of which has been recognized and reflected in this chambers over the past 3 months. As the administration, we are very proud to present quarterly reports to inform council and our public of the great progress and achievements we have accomplished. We have accomplished a lot in the first 3 months of 2024. Staff have identified and highlighted those achievements that they take great pride in having accomplished. We have included in the CEO office report the various functions that report directly to the CEO, and I would be pleased to respond to any questions, comments, or observations the official administrator has, and I'm always pleased to respond to any questions that our residents might have. Please accept this report as information, or please accept the CEO Office 2024 first quarter report as information. Thank you.
I'll move that the official administrator accept the Q1 2024 COA office report as information. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Mr. Vincent, and I think this is a good method to move forward, keep people informed. Ms. Jo Hall-Watt for Corporate Services, please.
I feel like Ms. Liz Armitage today, coming before you multiple times. I'm not so quick on the draw with jokes, though, so I'll I'll leave that to Liz. I'm here to present Q1 2024 Corporate Services Report. Council recommendations, motion that the official administrator accept the Q1 2024 Corporate Services Report as information. Subject background. Corporate Services has had a successful and productive first quarter of 2024. The attached report details the accomplishments of Q1 in the respective areas of human resources, IT, community services, community engagement, finance, economic development, and communications. Recommended options. Motion that the official administrator accept the Q1 2024 Corporate Services Report as information. Thank you.
Could we have the motion, please? I'll move that the official administrator accept the Q1 2024 Corporate Service Report as information. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And Liz, if we can have yours, please.
Good morning. I started writing notes on everyone and everything I'd like to acknowledge that the team has been working on, and came to the conclusion that it's all written in the report. And ultimately, CGI has a wonderful team. I am continually, day in and day out, impressed with the work that everyone is doing, the challenges that they've come together to overcome over the last few months. And the additions to the team that we have been a wonderful asset, and we are very excited about continue to work together and grow the team and continue to have collaborative dialogue between all of our groups, and including non-CGI groups. We like talking to you guys too. And so with that, if there are any questions on the report, I'm happy to attempt to entertain them. And beyond that, we recommend that this report be accepted as information.
I have no questions. Can I have the motion, please? I'll move that the official administrator accept the Q1 2024 Community Growth and Infrastructure CGI report as information. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Kent, if we could have yours, please.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Official Administrator. On behalf of Community Operations, I'd like to present the first quarter operations report as noted in the agenda package. The council recommendations, a motion that the official administrator accept the Community Operations first quarter 2024 report as information. Similar to Liz, it's a very lengthy report we have in there. We have a lot of operations going on in the various departments as noted below. I won't go through and repeat every one, but similar to my colleagues, I'd like to thank all of our staff, especially in the operations group. It's been a trying time over the past few months with all the changes, of course, happening in the city, but they've done an excellent job of continuing to be professional, continuing to serve the residents, and thinking of the residents first in their day-to-day operations. On that note, I'd like to highlight just a couple of projects that Community Operations implemented in the first quarter. The first is Report It. It's a web-based platform. Residents can find it on the city website. Gives them a portal to submit complaints, concerns, any kind of suggestions, things they see that need to be completed in the community. The nice part of this is it goes directly to the appropriate department, and it's a tracking system that can be dealt with to ensure we respond to concerns in an expedient manner. The second that is coming up, that was just announced yesterday morning on garbage and recycling, we'll be moving to a 4-day-a-week schedule. Our group will be working 10-hour days on those 4 days each week. That'll start May 6th. Information is up on the website. It'll also be included in their utility statements that go out this month here. It just gives us a little bit more efficiency in our operations and a better way for our staff to work, like I say, more efficiently. That information is all out, new maps, everything should be up on the website for residents to review. So in summary, I just appreciate if you could accept this report for information.
Thank you, Kent. I have no questions. I'll move that the official administrator accept the community operations first quarter 2024 report as information. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Mr. Vincent, I'd just like to thank you and your entire team for the continuous good work that you're producing here. It's been a trying few months, and you people have done an excellent job, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you, not only on behalf of myself, but I'm sure on behalf of the community as well.
Thank you.
And if we could have a motion, I'll move that the official administrator adjourn at 10:26 a.m. So moved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone, for your participation.